Hey everybody, welcome to Late Horror Show. What is going on? I'm Dino. Good to see each and every one of you doing the history of old time radio, CBS Radio Mystery Theater Edition, stream number 2. The first one we got through 22 episodes. I'm going to start off with number 23. First, let me say hello to everybody in the chat. What is going on? Roger S. Max, where you been, buddy? Good to see you. Yes, good to see you. Connie Clary, Scott Burton is here. Harry Scott, good to see each and every one of you. Black Roses is here. Good to see you. We are going to just talk CBS Radio Mystery Theater. I'm going to go in depth on the plot and the air date and title and all that stuff. So we are going to have some fun. So here we go. I am just going to jump right into it. Before I start that, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Leave a comment if you would. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Also have a couple of good streams coming up here. Almighty Sports Show. Hi, all. What's going on, Almighty Sports Show? Good to see you. Kathy Evans is here. Let's see. We got Best of Broadway as my beat overnight tonight. Going to be fun. Also just posted, me and Dave Plouffe will be doing our part 2 to Remembering Art Bell, Coast to Coast AM, paranormal show. So look forward to that. Got Ronald Murphy talking Bigfoot and cryptids next Monday too. So that is a thing. And this Saturday, instead of trivia, because I tinkered with Caption This, we are going to do Halloween 1978. I'm going to pluck out certain scenes, pictures, and you guys got to come up with a caption for the picture that I put up. It was really fun. You guys did an awesome job, and I figured, you know what? I'm going to start doing this. So we'll still have trivia nights, but we'll also have wrong answers only, and we'll have Caption This. So we've got 3 different games that will be playing on Saturday nights, mixing it up a little bit, you know. Tail Flautermouse, what's going on? Good to see you. Kathy, big hugs. Haven't seen you in a little bit. It's been a while. This Friday, we will have a party, so to speak. Instead of movie night for all patron members and channel members, the link's already posted. We will all get together via our video or audio, or if you just want to hang out in the chat, whichever, and just have some fun. Talk it up. Bring a glass of wine, whatever you want to do. We will have some fun. Prudently at home. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, prudently at home. That's a good way to be at home, is prudent. Dear Prudence, prudently. Anyways, much love to each and every one of you. I am going to get into this. I've been here, Dino, just quiet. Hope you are as well. Yes, very good. My kid is, the last meet is tomorrow night. Got 4 events again. I'll try to post what he does. He's trying to go for personal records tomorrow. And then on to districts and all that good stuff. So, if anybody wanted to know, I don't know. So here we go. On to episode number 23 of CBS Radio Mystery Theater. Again, how I do this is I just go through each and every episode, talk about the plot. You guys got anything to chime in, please feel free. Undead Chronic Sun, good evening, everyone from Indianapolis. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, so that's it. Let's have some fun. Let's episode 23. 3 women. It's not what you think. Premiere date was January 28, 1974, and then he rebroadcasted it January 7, 1979. The cast was Ruth Ford, Loretta Lake, William Redfield, Stephen Lake, Joan Loring as Clarissa, Roger DeCoven as Higgins, Elspeth Eric as Adelaide, and written by Elspeth Eric. So, and I said, as we go through each and every one of these episodes, a lot of these names are going to become familiar, and it's going to be interesting to see who wrote the show, who starred in it, how many times they appeared and stuff like that. So Very cool stuff. That's why I want to go through them by order and just keep going with it. So, writer Stephen Lake is strangely insistent on ending his novel with the death of its central character, Clarissa, even though his one chance of having it published turns on rewriting the ending to let her live. So, three women. There you go. That's the plot. Pretty short. No show notes on that one. But there you go. There you go. On to episode number 24. 24. Here we go. The Man Who Heard Voices premiered January 29th, 1974. It was rebroadcast 4/5 of 74 and 1/6 of 79. The cast was Larry Haynes as George, Susan Grossman as Margaret, Augusta Dabney as Sally, Leon Janney as Cartwright. Written by Sam Dan. Sam Dan, prolific writer for these old-time radio shows. The plot is a successful lawyer who falls for the wiles of his boss's young, beautiful daughter, has the strange gift of hearing voices meant only for him. Wow, what a great superhuman ability. Voices that predict his future and, most significantly, his dead wife's voice. Oh boy, making it impossible for him to forget his past. An eerie ghost story that takes place not in a deserted castle, but in a modern luxury high-rise apartment building. Sounds like a Giallo movie, right? Yeah, huh? Hey, Horror Junkie. Is Horror Junkie here? Did somebody say horror or what? Very nice horror. How come I don't see you? Horror Junkie for life. Thank you. Gifted one late horror show membership to Cam's Crash Courses. Funny thing is, I haven't seen Cam in a long time. And I think that's about the third time been gifted. So there you go. Thank you very much, Horror Junkie. Much love to you. Hopefully everything's going well. Infinity Stone, what's going on? Superman was a fun night. Tail Flounder Mouse. Thank you. Yeah, Superman was good, man. Superman was real fun. Oh boy, some of the stuff is not coming up on Restream, so I am going to go back over to the YouTube, and I'm just going to watch from YouTube. And when I have to go over to Restream to highlight something, I will. Thank you again, Horror Junkie for life. Yeah, the Superman was really, really good. There are a lot more episodes I have to put out. So I think I've done, what was that? Stream number 7 or 8 or something like that. But yeah, I've got many more Supermans. It's been a long time since I played it, but I did. So with that said, let's move on to episode number 25, CBS Radio Mystery Theater. Mother Love premiered on January 30th, 1974. It was rebroadcast March 31st, 1974 and 10/14/78. The cast was Joan Hackett as Paula Richards, Vinette Carroll as Mother Love. Who is this Mother Love? Mason Adams as George Richards, Roger DeCoven as Dr. Morton, Evelyn Juster as Edna Lacey, Leon Janney as Claude, and written for the first time on CBS Radio Mystery Theater by Bob Joren, if that's how you say it, Juhren, Bob Joren. That's his first entry into CBS Radio Mystery Theater. The plot, my friends. Undead Chronic said, good evening, everyone from any. Oh, yep. When Paula Richards is informed by her doctor that she is medically unable to bear a child, she turns to a fortune teller, Mother Love, in hopes that a spell will accomplish what doctors cannot. Mother Love considers herself fortunate indeed, as she sees that Paula is in a position to do her an enormous favor. Now Paula finds herself bound to a frightening and unexpected promise. We've suddenly gone into a different type. They must have had just a different feel that week for some of these episodes. So yeah, that's episode 25. CM, what is going on? Good to see ya. Yeah, some of it is not coming up on the chat, which is weird. I don't know. On the screen through Restream, but doesn't matter. I see you guys in the chat anyways. Much love to each and every one of you. Stephen Jules Rubin, informational. Thanks, brother Dino at Family. Still enjoying y'all. Good to hear, Stephen Jules. Rubin. On to episode number 26. Here we go. The Man Who Asked for Yesterday. Premiered January 31st, 1974. Rebroadcast 4/7 of 74 and 2/1 of 79. 2/1. That's February 1st of 1979. Dope! That's right. Anyways, the cast. A lot of these are familiar names. Keep doing these shows. Mando Kramer as Mort Herman. Evelyn Juster as Sherry Herman. Ralph Bell as Hackey. Gilbert Mack as Police Lieutenant. Paul Hecht as Herb Gordon. And written by Ian Martin. The plot: Mort Herman regains consciousness in a hospital where he is awaiting surgery to remove a bullet from his brain, when the man appears offering to let him relive the previous day. Wow. Mort jumps at the chance to seek revenge on his wife and bookie, who had conspired to kill him. The results, however, are not what he anticipated. And like I said last week, Ian Martin, he wrote a whole heck of a lot of the CBS Radio Mystery Theaters shows. And this one sounds like something Rod Serling would do. It sounds like it's the Twilight Zone episode, right? Right? It's a Twilight Zone episode. So cool. So cool. So cool and yet so hot. Horror Junkie, hey, lately I picked up a pack of Edgar Allan Poe craft beer. You want one just to keep as part of your collection? Heck yeah, Horror Junkie. I'll put it. Edgar Allan Poe. I wonder if we get, I don't look for it because I don't drink beer, but that would be awesome to have and set right up here. Edgar Allan Poe beer should be able to stay in there forever, right? It's yeast and it won't blow. Yes. Email me or let me know through whatever on Discord. Message me. And yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Mando Kramer, woohoo! What a voice. He had tremendous range. CM, yes. Okay, so hey, we got Dead Ringer. We got the, remember Jeremy Irons? That was Dead Ringers. They rebooted it and have a series out right now called Dead Ringers. They rebooted it. I don't know. Anyway, 27, Dead Ringer, premiered on February 1st, 1974, and was rebroadcast 4/6 of 74 and January 13th of 79. The cast: Joan Banks as Gloria Winters, Leon Jamney as Leo Winters, Paul Hecht as Grafton, Bob Dryden as Dr. Carmody, Larry Haynes as Al Grissom, written by Murray Burnett. I think that might be Murray Burnett's first time writing an episode. Yeah, I think so. The plot: Gloria Winters is amazed to discover that a man she found hurt on a highway is a dead ringer for her husband, whom she wants to divorce. Wow. The two are attracted to each other and soon are figuring out a way to get rid of her husband. But not his fortune. This is an old story with a new twist. Can you imagine that? I mean, she's looking, literally wants to kill her husband. And then she sees this other guy who's a dead ringer for him, but falls in love with him. Like, how can you get the look of the anyways, I'm not judging. Anyways, moving on to 28, episode 28. Let's see. Sure thing, Dino. I'll send you a DM. Sounds good. Thank you. 3 severed heads. What's going on? 3 severed heads. Better than 1 or 2, 3. Why not? I mean, I don't know. I love Larry Haynes. He's another actor with great talent and range. Donald Duck Apple Juice. Hi, Boy Donuts. Much love, much love. Mother Love was legitimately creepy, says Thomas Swafford. There you go. Yeah, Mother Love. Not a Miss Cleo type, right? Emotionally exhausted. So sorry to hear that. So sad that the voice actors typically got paid $100 per episode for this series. Listen, that's what happens. But history, right? They've gone down in history. But I get what you're saying. Yeah. But if you're only making so much money, even though it is CBS Radio Mystery Theater, and you think of what it's become, and it was a big hit then too, but you can only pay them what you can pay them. On to episode number 28, A Ghostly Game of Death. Premiered February 2nd, 1974. Rebroadcast 4/12 of 74 and February 4th of 1979. The cast: William Prince as Alex Garth, Joan Tyson as Lucy, Ralph Bell as Flanders, Gilbert Mack as Captain Hatch, William Redfield as Tim Kelly, written by Murray Burnett. So this should be a second one, I do believe. Thank you, Connie Clary. Gifted 1 Late Late Horror Show membership to John Doe. John Doe. Thank you, Connie. Really appreciate that and appreciate the support. Thank you, guys. So, A Ghostly Game of Death. The plot: hired to find the secrets of a haunted house on the seacoast, professional ghost hunter Alex Garth and his aide attempt to spend a night in the creaky old house. There they encounter the ancient wrath of the spirits of 2 lovers and the jealous sea captain husband who murdered them. He murmured them. One of those days, huh? He murdered them. When they meet up with the mad spirit, they discover that the sea captain is determined to murder anyone who pursues his wife, just as he did hundreds of years ago. Notes on this episode: William Redfield co-wrote television scripts for the television series Mr. Peepers. Mr. Peepers. There you go. Very cool. They could record 12 or 14 shows in a week, though. Yeah, CM. There you go. Exactly. I'm here, guys. A little late, but I'm here. Ed Stethis! What's going on? Happy National Paranormal Day. Yes, CM. National Paranormal Day. Yeah. Me and Dave Plouffe will be back doing Remembering Art Bell and the shows on May 21st. So look forward to that. Me and Dave Plouffe will have a good time talking about Art Bell again. There were so many things we couldn't get to. We wanted to get to them, but we couldn't. A Ghostly Game of Death. Those are my favorite. Of course, you guys know that. The ghost episodes, they're good. Which reminds me, there is a script that I got of these 2 that go into a haunted house. And listen, I've been talking how many years now? A couple years on reading a script live on the channel, but coming. Episode 29. Episode 29. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Mention you. The Sign of the Beast. The Sign of the Beast. Premiered on February 3rd, 1974. Rebroadcast 4/13 of 74 and January 14th of 79. The cast was Lois Smith as Millie, Danny Acco as Amara, Tom Keena as Kevin, Paul McGrath as Dr. Jorgensen, and it was written by Sam Dan. Working on an archaeological dig in South America, Millie praises the son of a jungle native, believing Billy is responsible for the boy's subsequent death. Aymara, the native, cunningly arranges to bring an ancient curse upon Millie, nearly turning her into a cannibalistic beast. Neither her husband nor her uncle can cure her until they know the reason for her sin against the beast goddess. Yikes! Cannibalism. Whew. Well, this was 74. So notes on this show are as follows. This was the first episode to feature Paul McGrath, who once played host Raymond on Inner Sanctum Mysteries, another radio show that Hyman Brown directed. So there you go. Raymond from Inner Sanctum Mysteries plays the feature part in this episode, The Sign of the Beast. Very, very cool. Very cool. And then I'll move over. So don't forget the thumbs, the buttons, the beeps, the pops, the peeps. Bang, bang, bang. I got to push this all the way over here. What am I doing? Don't forget the thumbs up. But yeah, please hit that thumbs up button. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do you know you took priority over the Sox game? That's how much you rate, bro. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. You know, hopefully you got it on pause and you can start it back up anytime you like. I'm going to bed. Night, everyone. Thank you, Horror Junkie. Good night. Oh my God, it's early, Horror Junkie. But I guess it depends when you need to go to bed. Much love to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. WTF Horror and Sci-Fi. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. Moving on to episode number 30. Here Goes the Bride. Premiered February 4th, 1974. It was rebroadcast 4/14 of 74 and February 11th, 1979. The cast was Ruby Dee as Jenny Morgan, Terry Keane as Lisa Morgan, Bryna Rayburn as Conchita Aguilar, Conchita Aguilar, Ian Martin as Juan, Michael Wagger as Richard Morgan, and written by Ian Martin. So this has got to be a little dark, you would think. Let's see. Oh, the plot: Jenny Morgan accompanies her new husband, Richard, to his estate on a cliff overlooking the Pacific and immediately encounters savage dogs. A housekeeper whose resentment is obvious, a vengeful sister-in-law, and the legend of Richard's former wife. A movie star whose sudden death looks less and less like a suicide to Jenny. Interesting. Ian Martin. Notes for this show: some, but not all, radio stations rebroadcast Lost Dog after this episode, presenting a double feature. Interesting. Which episode number 31, Lost Dog. February 4th, 1974, rebroadcast from January 9th, 1970. So in order, 30, 31. There you go. Yes. Let's see. Beth Germanetti, what is going on? Good to see you. Hope all is well with you. Yes, hopefully you're doing well. I like being here at this cool time with these chats. John Doe, you were gifted a membership, so definitely be sure to check out the link for the perks and all that good stuff. This Friday, we're going to have a party. We're going to have a party for all the members and Patreon members, so it should be a fun night talking to everybody. So there you go. Definitely good to see you. Just going through each episode of CBS Radio Mystery Theater, History of Old Time Radio Shows Edition, CBS Radio number 2. There you go. Next is episode 32. The Lady Was a Tiger. Premiered February 5th, 1974, and rebroadcast for 1974 and February 10th, 1979. The cast was William Redfield as Larry Fielding, Joan Loring as Carol, Ian Martin as the inspector, Chris Gamble as the waiter, Roger DeCoven as Dr. Rodzansky, and written by Ian Martin. Boy, they worked hard back then, didn't they? The plot: an unemployed newspaperman agrees to an assignment in Paris and is soon falsely accused of murder. After a beautiful American girl obtains his release from jail and warns him that his new life is now endangered, he realizes that he is caught up in a deadly game of espionage and must decide whether the girl is the double agent she claims to be. So that's The Lady Was a Tiger. So a little bit different. Episode number 32. Lost Doggy. Hope he finds a home. What's going on there? Okay, life is... Sorry to hear that, Beth. Much love here as always. Catwoman, yes. Catwoman. Okay, anyways, moving on to episode number 33. After the Verdict premiered February 6th, 1974, then rebroadcast 4/20/74 and 2/24/79. The cast was Tony Roberts as Ned Murray, Joseph Julian as Lou Rydell, Bryna Rayburn as Melanie Rydell, Barbara Caruso as Karen Astral, Bob Dryden as Harry Astral, Sam Gray as Tony Iego, I-E-G-O. Anyways, whatever. Written by Henry Slessor, based on his short story, Second Verdict. The plot is the young attorney, Ned Murray, wins an acquittal for Lou Rydell, charged with murder, and then discovers some disquieting information about his client from a strange confession, making him realize his mistake. Ned soon realizes that his career and Lou's life are in jealousy. After the Verdict. We see a theme going throughout this week where they're not so spooky, but strange, suspenseful twists. So, but listen, always good shows, right? I just love hanging out, learning new stuff. Awesome, Ed. Good to see you, as always. You know that. Next episode number 34, I Warn You 3 Times. Premiered February 7th, 1974, and then rebroadcast from January 12th, 1974. So this was rebroadcast from a prior... I Warn You 3 Times, February 7th. Okay, anyways, no plot there. On to episode number 35. Conspiracy to Defraud. Premiered February 8th, 1974, and rebroadcast 4/21/74. The cast was Paul Hecht as Steve Nash, Susan Grossman as Helene Frayne, George Petrie as Harrington, Ruth Warwick as Phyllis, Gilbert Mack as Bovine. Oh my God, some of these names. What the heck? Why wouldn't you come up with something simpler for the script? Boivin. Boivin. Bov. Listen, I have an issue with reading. Anyways, it's a learning disability. Anyways, Leon Janney as see another what Coladinos, Colodinos, Coladinos. Anyways, let's move on. Written by Sidney Sloan. Sidney Sloan. It's Slon, but it's Sloan. Sidney Sloan. Jeez. How you guys doing tonight? Crackers and cheese, anyone? The plot. After two of his fellow narcotic agents are killed in New York, Steve Nash is sent to Paris to get information on shipments of heroin known to be bound for the United States. Everyone he meets, except a young woman, quickly makes it known that he is not welcome. Notes for this episode: Paul Hecht would periodically appear on the television comedy Kate and Allie as the character Charles Lowell. There you go. During the program's early years in 1983 and 1984, Kate and Allie, you remember that show? I'm not sure if I cared for it much, but it was a show. Anyways, let me see. Paul Heck had to change his name from Paul Hell at the end of the pre-code era, WTF Horror and Sci-Fi. Really? See, the trivia from the chat. Really interesting. You can't pronounce those names however you like. You can. Thanks, Kathy. Connie, thank you. Gifted one Late Horror Show membership to Lynn Ludi. Thank you, Connie. Thank you. Appreciate the support as always. Yeah, and thank you. Those listen. Why would you make the name so like? I guess maybe it's not. You tell me. Boivn. How do you say that? Boivin? Boivin? Hey, Boivin. No, Jerry Lewis. Boivin. I don't listen. I don't know. The other one, Leon Janney as Coladinos. I got that one, but yeah. So I get that one. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. No, not really. I was joking. Keep going, Dino. We love you. Okay. Anyways, moving on to episode. Listen, we're getting a lot of episodes out. So, I've been doing like 7-8 minute clips of history of old time radio, which I'll still do some of those for the shorter programs. But I figure why not go an hour and a half for the CBS Radio Mystery? Get a lot more episodes out. Okay. So the next one. Here we go. Whew! Let me take a sip. Got good old ginger ale here. Yeah. Okay. Episode number 36. The Deadly Hour. Premiered February 9th, 1974. Rebroadcast 4/26/74 and 2/17 of 79. The cast: Norman Rose as Martin Jerome, John Barragray as Doctor, Jack Grimes as George, Marion Seldes as Marion. See, can you get creative like that? Anyways, written by Elspeth Eric. Elspeth Eric, he said. Marion probably said, I want to keep my real first name for the program. Please, Elspeth. And he said, oh, Marion, yes, just for you. And I think a romance bloomed. But anyways, the plot: Martin Jerome, who after a traumatic experience has avoided speaking to anyone for 25 years. Doesn't that make him a Who are they? Who are they? Monks. The monks. Yeah, the monks up in the Himalayan over there. Where is he at? Oh, yeah, Himalayan. You get what I'm saying. Yeah, not speaking for 25 years. Anyways, I'll continue. Sorry. Seeks an interview with a psychiatrist to tell a horrifying tale of revenge against a young couple who had inadvertently invaded his privacy. After 25 years, he's said nothing. And then he's going to seek out a psychiatrist to tell this horrific story. Hopefully he can find his voice, right? Anyways, radio shows are the best. You get to use your imagination. Amen, Beth Germanetti. Well, listen, I listen. I love the movies too, but there's a certain time for motion pictures, and there's most certainly a time for old time radio shows and the imagination of the mind. It's when your eyes are closing, usually at night, or if you're just relaxing in a chair, sitting back, closing your eyes, and imagining the words that are playing out before you. So yes, I mean I agree with you. I agree with you. Tibetan monks. Thank you, Harry Scott. Thank you, Harry Scott. Mute by choice, like a monk or a nun under a vow of silence. Ed Stathis says ginger ale. What? Yeah, it's just I think Dino's got an ulcer, is what I think. Stress will do that to you. I don't know. Anyways, ginger ale, very soothing. Anyways, here we go. On to the next episode, which is Dead Man's Mountain. Dead Man's Mountain. They were infatuated with death. Anyways, well, death is always mystery, suspense, horror. Premiered 2/10, February 10th, 1974. Rebroadcast 4/27 of 74 and 2/18 of 79. The cast was Alan Hewitt as R.J. Johnson, Bryna Rayburn as Anita Dollard, William Redfield as George Morrissey, Bob Dryden as Dr. Watterson, and written by Sam Dan. The plot: one of the world's wealthiest men, determined to build a resort on Mount Manitou in the Adirondacks, is aghast to see his young aide, Morrissey, return from the mountain as a feeble 70-year-old. Unwilling to believe the mountain is haunted, R.J. Johnson travels to a nearby village, whose residents, opposed to construction of the resort, tells him that anyone who goes up the mountain will die if his conscience is not perfectly clear. Notes for this show: Alan Hewitt played the detective on television's My Favorite Martian. Very cool. There you go. Let's see. Thank you. Very true, Dino. Mute. These deep doop dop dop. Elspeth Eric's scripts except one. You hate all of Elspeth Eric's scripts except one, says CM. Interesting. And I see where you're going though, because yes, I don't hate. I don't think there's an episode that I really hate, but there most certainly are some that aren't better than others. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying. I'm going to order some sea monkeys soon. Oh, John Doe. Nice. Yes. Do so. Sea monkeys are known for their long lasting vows of silence. WTF for CM. Elspeth Eric was a much better actress than writer. She dates back to the 40s on radio, like Larry Haynes, Mason Adams, Paul McGrath, and some others. Very cool, CM. Thank you. I love how you guys give me a little extra trivia there. Very, very cool. And yeah, sea monkeys. I might be in for it. Isn't it really just brine shrimp? I mean, anyways. Episode number 39 was a rebroadcast of Lost Dog. Episode 39, A Dream of Death, premiered February 12th, 1974, rebroadcast 4/28 of 74 and 3/11 of 79. The cast: Marion Seldes as Madeline Betty Powers, Michael Tolan as Rex Patterson, Evelyn Juster as Susan Miller, Ira Lewis as Peter Evans, Bob Dryden as Reverend Fallowfield, written by Sam Dan. Plot is Charity Youngblood swears she will have her revenge against Civil War soldier Eli Wallington, who jilted her some 200 years later. Madeline Betty Powers, a university student, and Rex Patterson, her history professor, seem destined to live out the unfinished story of Charity and Eli. Sounds pretty cool. I'm trying to remember back. I mean, I've heard all of these so many times. I'm trying to remember that one. Sounds very cool, though. I love it. Night Freight Talk Show. What is going on? Tell it to the mountains, says it Stathis. Years ago, I had some before my mom, the sea monkeys. Get some, but never did it. So going to get some this year, John Doe. Yeah. Sea monkeys in your aquarium, Dino. Well, you know what? I have to re-look up sea monkeys. I mean, I think they're just like maybe little trilobites or something like that. So they may be cool to add to a fish tank, but yeah, I might look into it. Anyways, on to episode number 40. Episode number 40. Dig Me Deadly. Dig Me Deadly is the title. And it premiered February 13th, 1974. Rebroadcast 6/6 of 76. And January 18th of 1980. So they rebroadcast that late. Again. Cast: Louisa Larrabee as Claudia Trubshaw. See, like, look at that name. What should I call it? Claudia Trubshaw. Mason Adams as Wiley. Ralph Bell as Professor Wilkerson. Corinne Orr as Janine. Ann Costello as Susan. Chris Tabori as Jimmy. And written, I think, by someone new. Written by S.J. Wilson. I think this is his premiere episode with a written credit as writer. Plot: Detective Claudia Trubshaw is summoned to the site of an Arizona archaeology expedition to investigate the disappearance of a young girl. When an ancient skeleton is found with the girl's disembodied hands attached, she fears that more than just digging is going on at this site. Nice. Notes for this episode: Corinne Orr, a Canadian actress who performed in numerous Canadian Broadcasting Company dramas, plays Jeannie in this episode. So there you go. She was on the CBC radio network doing many dramas. So there you go. Very cool. Oh yeah, there's I've got to get some videos up there. It's longer to put together some of the aquarium videos because you want to get stages of the development of the aquarium. So I've got a lot of footage recorded already, and I will be getting some stuff up there. But yeah, Terra Waltera, Connie Clary, put the link there if anybody cares to subscribe and check that out. My aquarium and glass vases. I've got 5 betas. The newest one is called Ghost. Man, I wish I could just carry the camera around with me. It's right over there, but it's so cool. I think I put up a video on the other channel, so you can see Ghost, the all-white beta, in his tall vase with roots coming. So cool. I call it the upside down. Looks very cool. Anyways, let's see. Let me tell you, as a kid, disappointed to see monkeys. They look nothing like they. Oh yeah, no. Listen, the sea monkeys in the old comic books, they would make them with faces. They're sitting at the dinner table. She's cooking up stuff on the stove. You know, yes, there was a point when I was very little. I looked at that and went, "Man, that looks so awesome." Real people, yeah, real people, real living things. Not really. Big ripoff. Anyways, moving on to the next uh, episode is episode 41, Under Grave Suspicion, premiered February 14th, 1974, rebroadcast 5/3 of 74. The cast was Ralph Bell as Thomas Drake, Patricia Wheel as Mary Ann, Bob Dryden as Dr. Mallory, William Redfield as police chief, and written, I do believe, by another new person, written by Hank Warner. Hank Warner. I do believe his very first writing credit. So there you go. Plot is unemployed electrical engineer Thomas Drake and his wife Mary Ann, who began their relationship as two modern singles, willing to give living under the same roof a try. Find their marriage on the rocks. She begins seeing another man whom Drake threatens to kill unless he leaves her alone. Just hours before Hurricane Gilda hits their Long Island seaside cottage, their stormy marriage takes a frightening, unexpected turn. Under grave suspicion. Any is it, yeah, that the movie Under Grave Suspicion, same concept there. So yeah, there you go. Very cool. I looked up, and there is no danger to each other. Well, thank you, John Doe. Thank you. Sam Barker, what's going on? Good to see you, Sam Barker. I think you're talking about sea monkeys going into Beth Germanetti. What colors? Definitely look at the channel, Terra Waltera. Check out my other channel. But I got the white one, who I call Ghost. There's a blue one that I call Angel. There's an all red one, beautiful, that I call Satan. Yes. And then there's an all brown one with his belly being orange. And I call him Mustard. Just felt like calling him Mustard. So it's stuck. So yes, they are all very cool. I've been taking little eyedropper, and I got that videotaped where I'm feeding them freeze-dried bloodworms. I melt them, after they're from the freezer. And I take a little eyedropper, and you go right up to the surface of the water, and you put the eyedropper and just drop one little worm right into their mouth. It's cool. I'll have some video of it. It's really interesting and kind of cool. Let's see some X-ray glasses on Dino's desk. X-ray glasses might be kind of cool. I looked up, and there is no danger to you. Okay, gotcha. Good to see everybody. Okay, moving on to episode 42 was The Bullet. That was rebroadcast from an earlier episode from January. So episode number 43. Hold on. Episode number 43. A lady never loses her head. Or does she? I love William Redfield. He was a gifted actor. He left us too soon. See him. Yeah. Gordon Lightfoot just passed away, I think, yesterday. Yes. Great singer from the 70s, if you're into that music. A Lady Never Loses Her Head premiered on February 16th, 1974, rebroadcast 5/4 of 74. The cast, Zara herself, Kim Hunter, Beth Stanton, Court Benson as Inspector Finchley, Nick Pryor as Charles, Bryna Rayburn as Nora, Ian Martin as the Doctor, and of course, if he's playing in the episode, he's usually writing it. Written by Ian Martin. The plot: when Beth Stanton impulsively marries a handsome Englishman and moves to his ancestral castle, the specter of a woman supposedly beheaded hundreds of years before appears to her each night. Only Inspector Finchley, an old friend of Beth's father, suspects that the headless woman is not an hallucination. Beth wonders if she isn't losing her head. Ba-dum-bum. There you go. Interesting. Hey, Tokar, what's going on? Colonel Mustard. I just changed the name. Instead of just Mustard, yes, it's Colonel Mustard. Why didn't I think of that? I'm such a big Clue fan. Yes, it's Colonel Mustard. So there you go. He's mostly brown, but he's got that yellow right in the middle, the orangish yellow. So I call him Mustard. Anyways, it just stuck. So Colonel Mustard it is. Let's see. Episode number 44, The Walking Corpse. The Walking Corpse. Premiered February 17th, 1974. Rebroadcast 5/5 of 74. And March 4th of 1979. The cast, again, Tony Roberts as Steve Ramsey, Suzanne Grossman as Patricia Ramsey, Robert Caliban as Christopher LeClaire, Vinette Carroll as Tante Solange, and Ian Martin as Trudeau. Jackson Beck as Garcia, and written by Ian Martin. The plot: Steve and Pat Ramsey are happy newlyweds. Again with the newlyweds, Ian Martin, who win a glorious 2-week vacation in the Caribbean. On the plane, they meet one of Steve's former college football teammates, Christopher LeClaire, the son of a West Indian island king. Two zombies soon commandeer the plane, and those shot point blank by a U.S. agent continue their task of transporting Chris and the newlyweds into General Trudeau's country. Notes for this episode: Jackson Beck was one of the 4 panelists on Charade Quiz, a short-run television series that ran from 1947 to 1949. A few years after this mystery performance, Beck narrated the short-run Lifeline series in 1978. Radio buffs recognize him for his portrayal of office boy Jimmy Olsen of the Daily Planet on the series The Adventures of Superman. Nice. There you go. Very cool. With the triops, you can put them with small fish like guppies because they're algae eaters. I'm going to look into the sea monkeys. You better believe it, John Doe. I'll put them right in. I was thinking of getting trilobites for a couple of the tanks because putting in some of those lower life forms, kind of cool. Next beta name is freeze dried. No. Well, actually, you're supposed to. Betas in the wild eat insects, so it's not far fetched. That's actually what you're supposed to feed them. They love that a lot more than the pellets that you put in there because they're carnivorous. Betas are carnivorous, like piranha. Anyways, on to the next episode, which is Blizzard of Terror. Blizzard of Terror. Premiered February 18th, 1974, rebroadcast 5/10/74 and 2/25 of 79. The cast, Lois Smith as Helen Crane, Leon Janney as Jim Crane, Larry Haynes as Jim Crane. Wait, so Leon Janney and Larry Haynes both playing Jim Crane. Written by George Lothar. Is this George Lothar's first writing credit? Might be. Driving home from a skiing weekend, Jim and Helen are caught in a blizzard and hear on their car radio that police are looking for the axe murderer of an entire family. They manage to make it to the mountain cabin, the kitchen of which is splattered with blood. Man, here we go. The couple soon convince themselves that the owner is Jake Morgan, the man whom the police are looking for. Now that's a slasher. I mean, it sounds like an early slasher, Blizzard of Terror. Use your imagination for that one, right? Notes for the show. Lois Smith won the Best Supporting Actress Award from the National Society of Film Critics for her portrayal of Jack Nicholson's pianist sister in the 1970 film 5 Easy Pieces. 5 Easy Pieces. Very cool. That reminds me. I started watching on Netflix, or is it Amazon? I think it's Netflix. Something about it's an entire kind of a documentary on Rita Moreno. Rita Moreno. Yeah, I think that's it. And her coming up through Hollywood and everything she went through at the age of 16, coming from Puerto Rico, and in how they treated women back in the day, and somewhat still do. It's so interesting. And my point was, Jack Nicholson. It got me into really wanting to dive back deep into some of the 60s movies, whether it's drama, comedy, whatever. It's just, I haven't seen enough of the movies from the 60s, even late 50s, 60s. And I'd like to kind of go back and watch some of those because it was just, it was enthralling. It was enthralling to see a lot of the movies that she played in and the time period. So I'm kind of feeling the 60s at the moment. So I think I'm going to watch West Side Story very soon. That's kind of what it got me in the mood for, and she plays in that. But anyways, on to the next episode. Sea Fever. Sea Fever. A sea fever. Jackson Beck and Court Benson go way back on radio too. CM, your radio too, man. Your horror, your radio. Do you know one should be called Jaws? I know I'm cheesy, but yeah, I don't know. It has to be the right fish, but I don't think I'd ever call a beta Jaws. They just don't look like a Jaws. I mean, it's just, anyways, that's just me, but listen, it's a good idea. Colonel Crypto, what's going on? Commandeer that ginger ale, Dino. I'm trying. Anyways, whoa. Okay, so Sea Fever, episode 46. Premiered February 19, 1974, rebroadcast 5/11/74, and March 10th of 1979. The cast was George Matthews as Captain Adams, Marion Seldes as Annabella. I love that name, Annabella. Annabella. Leon Janney as Whitey. Brett Morrison as Mr. Ames. William Redfield as Mr. Rogers. And written by Ian Martin. I guess Ian Martin decided not to play a role in Sea Fever. The plot: bound for the African coast and a cargo of slaves, the Annabella is commanded by a huge and forbidding giant of a man, Captain Josiah Adams, who, against the wishes of the ship's owner, has his wife on board. Anyone who even talks about her, the crew soon learns, can expect the sea to be his grave. Is the captain mad with imagined jealousy? Ooh, who knows? Sea fever. The notes on this episode are: this is the first episode of the series to feature Brett Morrison. Morrison had appeared in numerous radio shows, including the Chicago Radio Theater, the First Nighter program, Suspense, X-1, and even starred as Lamont Cranston, alias The Shadow, for a few years. On one of the dates this episode was rebroadcast, March 10th, 1979, the CBS radio network, Sam Cooke Diggs and Hyman Brown each received a special citation from the Eastern Directors Council of Directors Guild of America, Inc., for their major roles in the resurgence of radio dramas, namely the CBS Radio Mystery Theater. Mr. Diggs is president of the CBS Radio Division. The citations were presented during the 1979 Annual Directors Guild of America Awards dinner in New York City's St. Regis Hotel. Richard M. Brescia, Vice President and General Manager of the CBS Radio Network, accepted the citations for the network, and Mr. Mr. Diggs. Hyman Brown received a citation in person. So, wow, a lot of notes for that one. There you go. That was Sea Fever. Lots going on during the Sea Fever, right? 50s and 60s horror and sci-fi are the best. John Doe. Hey, Linda. Good to see you, Linda Bear. Rita Moreno did a great guest spot on The Muppets back in the 70s. I remember that. But she went on and on about how she hated, she was such a beautiful young woman. I mean, she started at the age of 15, 16, going to, I think, Louis Meyer during the early part of the, filmmaking in Hollywood. And we won't go into the stories she talked about, but, just how the typecasting of her was, it was kind of ridiculous having to play an island girl. It was just crazy. It's crazy how things were and how things have changed. Listen, there's still issues and problems, but things have changed, so for much more for the better. Anywho, let's return to the episodes. Overkill, what's going on? The longest voice of the shadow. Yes, Overkill. It's supposed to be giant monster movies from Godzilla, Earth versus Spider. Yeah. Episode number 47 was The Return of the Moresbys, which is rebroadcasted from an earlier time, which we discussed. Episode 48, The Walls of Jericho, premiered February 21st, 1974, rebroadcast 5/12 of 74. The cast was Bob Dryden as Drindle, Guy Sorrell as Winthrop, Ralph Bell as Cudworth, Sidney Walker as Ashley, Ian Martin as Higgins, Mary Jane Higby as Martha. Ian Martin plays in this, but the writer is Elspeth Eric. So written by Elspeth Eric. The plot: near retirement and tired of hearing himself referred to as poor old Drindle, Drindle plays a modest joke on the snobbish members of the Boston Men's Club, in which he serves as steward. When the joke appears to succeed, he plays another and can't resist a momentous third one, only to find that he's conjured up apparitions that get out of hand with magical results. Wow. The Walls of Jericho. Yeah, I remember. Anyways, she's 91 now, Linda. Yeah, Rita Moreno. Yeah. Still around. Her and Stairpike got to get together and talk. Just saying. Anyways, you guys have seen Stairpike in the chat at night, right? Hopefully Stairpike's still around. In the chat and all that. I can't remember when I seen him last. Episode 49. A popular one, The Horla. Premiered February 22nd, 1974. Rebroadcast 5/17/74, 10/21/78, 5/19/79. The cast: Paul Hecht as Guy de Maupassant, Bob Dryden as Dr. Cartier, Danny Acco as Jean-Baptiste Roger, Bryna Rayburn as Madame Bonsard, adapted by Sam Dan, based on the 1886 short story by Guy de Maupassant. Guy de Maupassant attempts to convince his psychiatrist that his body is being consumed by a feeling of an invisible presence. After weeks of nightmares and the feeling like he's being watched and talked about all the time, he takes judgment into his own hands by attempting to take back the possession of his soul before it's decreased by impending tragedy and doom. Notes for this episode: considered Guy de Maupassant's most famous short story. And if I'm butchering the name, I'm sorry. I do know him. Listen, popular writer of the time. This story has been adapted for numerous horror radio shows, including Inner Sanctum Mysteries. Among the Hollywood stars who have performed for this story are Peter Lorre and Paul Lukas. So there you go. Peter Lorre. That's why this is a special episode. I think that was in Suspense that he played that, though. Am I right? Yes, I think so. How can you beat Fiend without a face? Yes, there has been in the chat. Oh, good. I try to stay as long as I can lately, but lots going on. So anyways, last track meet of the year tomorrow night. So it's very important for my son tomorrow. 4 events again: pole vault, long jump, high hurdles, low hurdles. And on to episode number 50, which is Death Rides a Stallion, rebroadcast from an earlier time. Episode 51, The Horse That Wasn't for Sale. Thank goodness. It premiered February 24th, 1974, rebroadcast 5/18/74 and March 17th, 1975. The cast: Mercedes McCambridge as Chrissy Runyon, Arnold Ross as Judge Simmons, William Redfield as Clem Burnett, Earl Hammond as Sam Fryatt, and written by Henry Slessor. Plot: Chrissy Runyon must sell the family horses in order to help pay off debts her recently deceased father accumulated. She refuses, however, to put one horse named Stargazer on the market because, did you hear my voice crackle? Stargazer on the market because the obstreperous steed refuses. What the hell is that word? Steed refuses to obey all, but you guys got to love it, right? Okay. Anyways. Yeah, so let me find my place again. When the horse stomps a man to death for what Chrissy believes were good reasons, she makes an extreme move to prevent authorities from destroying the animal. Notes for this episode: William Redfield starred as Officer Jimmy Hughes on television's Jimmy Hughes, Rookie Cop in 1953. Boy, that must not have ran that long. Afterwards, Redfield left the series to pursue the role of Bobby Logan on The Marriage in 1954. Mercedes McCambridge played Catherine Wells on television's wire service during the late 1950s. When the radio show One Man's Family made the transition to television, McCambridge played the bit part of Beth Holly from 1949 to 1950. Well, there you go. And I think I'm going to end it on that because Dino can't read very well this evening. Episode 52 was No Hiding Place from an earlier broadcast, and 53 was also The Edge of Death, also from an earlier. Oh, no. Well, one more. Episode 53, The Edge of Death, premiered February 26, 1974. Rebroadcast 5/1974, March 24th, 1974. The cast: Patrick O'Neill as Alex, Marion Seldes as Judy, Ian Martin as Dr. Richards, Leon Janney as Ben, and written, I think, by someone new, by Sol Panitz. A rural community is terrified when the appearance of a faceless man dressed in black is reported. At least 12 people in the farming area claim to have witnessed this dark-dressed man lurking in the woodlands. Oh, man, I love this. They became convinced the figure represents death when a dog confronts it and immediately dies with no evidence of violence. So that was episode 53, The Edge of Death. That's a pretty good plot synopsis, right? Thank you, you guys. I will end number 2, which is an ongoing series, The History of Old Time Radio Shows, CBS Radio Mystery Theater Edition, episode number 2. Going to end a little bit earlier here, not go the full hour and a half. I'm close enough. But definitely make sure you guys give a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you want about any of the episodes or whatever. I mean, yeah, or don't. Hey, Ryan, what's going on, 79? Good to see you. I really need to use punctuation. Thank you, Dino Roxton. Listen, I don't know about that. But anyways, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Definitely look forward to Saturday night's Halloween 1978. We're going to caption this. We did this past week where I put up a picture and you guys got to caption what they're saying. It was very fun. So we're going to do it this Saturday. And we're going to kind of rotate between trivia nights, only wrong answers trivia nights, and capture this. So I think they're all fun games to do. How could you go wrong with CBS Radio Mystery Theater? You can't, Harry Scott. I have to go a little early. No, I'm leaving too, but peace to UCM. Catch you later. And with that said, everybody, hey, Carrie class, on your way out, please hit that thumbs up button for me, please. And I will see you guys for Broadway is My Beat. I put together a little best of. It's been, a little while since I played some Broadway as my beat, so we'll get a little bit of that tonight. Cat Mom, hello, Cat Mom, Cat Mom, Cat Mom. Do you know Cat Dog? Anyways, peace and much love to each and every one of you. And until